kulanti wacan wanaagsan daawadayaasha qiimiga qadarinta mudan oo ilaahanta meel ka soo joogtaanba waa mar kale iyo barnaamijka aad uga barateen inuu idin ka soo baaho bartamaha Toronto magacayga waa Maxamed Daahir Xasan waad ku mahadsantihiin daawashada barnaamijka iyo waqtigiina qaaliga oo hadii jeer aad noo soo hortaan si aad noo dhiirigelisaan isla markaasna ula socotaan waxyaabaha ka socda waddanka Canada guud ahaan gaar ahaan magaalada Toronto iyo qurbo joogta Soomaalida dalkeena hooyo waxaa ka socday baryahanba abaaro xoog badan inkastoo raxmaadkii lagu doogsaday oo eeba ku manaystay oo meel walba oo dalka roobab mihigaan ama wanaagsan ay ka biyo dhigeen ama ay ka de'een hase yeeshee weli macluushii dhibaatadii iyo rafaadkii dadku soo maray xoolihii ka dhamaaday iyo waxyaabo badan ayaa weli socda sidaa darteed waxaan idinku boorinaynaa inaad caawisaan kana qayb qaadataan haddaba barnaamij arrintaa ku wajahan ayaa ka dhacay magaalada Toronto bartamaheeda toddobaadkan inaga tegay iyadoo halkaa ay kasoo qayb qaateen mas-uuliyiin ka tirsan dowladda Canada oo uu ka mid yahay wasiirka maaliyadda iyo sidoo kale wasiirka bey'adda iyo deegaanka ee Ontario waxaana halkaas kasoo qayb galay dad kale oo badan oo ay ka mid ahay duqii hore ee magaalada Toronto waa gabadha magaceeda la yiraahdo Barbara Hall oo iyadu ka soo dhaweysay barnaamijkaas isaga ah haddaba barnaamijka waxaa soo qabanqaabiyey dhalinyaro Soomaaliyeed oo la oran karo waxay ahaayeen jiilalkii cusbaa ee daayirta ahaa ee waddanka Canada ku barbaaray ama ku dhashay si weyn oo qurux badanna barnaamijku ay soo qabanqaabiyeen dad badan oo ajnabi ayaa ka soo qayb qaatay lacag badanna halka waa lagu aruuriyay isla docda kale waxaa khadka telefoonka ku soo tiigsaday oo video link waxa la yiraahdo ku soo hadlay mas'uul ka tirsan dowladda Soomaaliya gaar ahaan wasaaradda ka hortagga masiibooyinka u qaabilsan oo magaciisa la yiraahdo Maxamed Cali barnaamijku wuxuu ahaa mid qurux badan dhalinyarada ayaa si weyn u qaabeynayay ayaga dadka magacyada diiwaangelinta iyo registrationka iyo waxa uu sameeyay ayaga barnaamijka xiriirinayay waxa kale oo socday oo barbar socday dhalinyaro iyagu gabayada gaar ahaan luqadda Ingiriisiga ayuu adeegsanaya halka ku soo gudbiyay barnaamij qurux badanna wuu ahaa haddaba waxa soo qaban qaabiyay san hore u sheegnay dhalinyarada Soomaalida iyagu ku dhashay ama ku barbaaray magaalada Toronto balan soo dhaweeyo Saamiya iyo nin kale oo dhalinyaro ah oo iyagu xiriirinaya barnaamijka hadaladoodii waxa kamid ahaa
So please help me welcome Sheikh Saeed Rage, the Imam of Sakina Center.
You know, when you look back home, you see people who never had wealth. They never had business. They never had property to lean on. But they were always taken care of because of the community. If someone is in need, everybody used to come and take care of them. But today, my dear brothers and sisters, they need our help. I know a lot of us who were raised or born and raised in this country, you may not understand the struggle that they're going through. You may not understand, the need of those people because our children have no need according to their needs. Your child needs something from Tim Hortons, we drive through and we give them ice cap. They want bagel with cream cheese, a simple drive-through. They want to buy a PlayStation, done. But the parents over there, they're struggling to feed their children. Mothers putting their kids to sleep with the illusion that tomorrow Daddy will bring food. With the illusion that tomorrow they will find water for tonight's sleep, for tonight's rest, and something will be there for you tomorrow. When that child wakes up in the morning expecting something, it's just another day of struggle. I'm urging all of you to put yourself in their place.
It's original, it's beautiful, it's heartfelt, it's genuine. So please help me welcome my two sisters, Shadia Aidi and Zainab Aidi, and they do have the same last name, but they're not sisters. They're soul sisters.
Okay, assalamualaikum everybody. Good. Okay, so I'm Shadia, this is Dana. We'll be doing a poem called The for a Dream.
We've fallen into the rhythm of assimilation. Colonizers' tongue masking your own mother tongue. Force-fed you the English language until you mastered how to write, recite your master's tongue. Packed and unpacked until you forget where you're from.
We've fallen into the rhythm of assimilation, a similar rhythm to conversations about multiculturalism and integration. But our black words were seen as too backwards, so we've lost our identity in translation.
Loss of connection, broken telephones telling our stories
in fragments over long distance phone calls, fragmented
conversations, displaced words traveling long distances.
We try to remember home. Open your mouth to speak, but your words can't break through borders. Drawn with red pastel by colonial imposters, carved nations into the backs of our mother.
Drew maps that lock bodies inside barren sand dunes. Left us with droughts and empty waters, poisoned our seas, and wondered why we turned to piracy.
We navigate the tide of two cultures, we think into languages.
Diaspora, the children that fall between the cracks of continents.
Displaced, deserted, disconnected from the realities our kin face back home. Disassembled, forced to put ourselves back together again. Disheartened, disregarded, disappearing
like the lives lost on the passage to asylum. We spent too much time in the water.
Ramos and the buddies fishing in your belly like the sea that most of us have never seen.
Of a crime, of the murder of our culture and destruction of our country, we tried to find a home.
We look at the lines on our palms, searching for a map to guide us, but they remain smooth and uncalloused, missing the ridges of hardship.
They are rough like sandpaper with some lifelines cut short. How did we get so lucky? Our parents traded their last shilling for a dream, tried to maintain their deen.
They sold their head for a dream, replaced it with skin lightening cream, trying to fit in a world never made for Ma'awis and brown skin. In the western side of the world, living in the West End or X End,
where Somali women only speak to each other in proverbs and poetic passages, their language open to them, but not. Living in the West End, the Rex End, where Somali women only speak to each other in proverbs and poetic passages, their language open to them, but not. Where the halal meat store is a one-stop shop for food, dinners, and news back home. But we've fallen into the rhythm of assimilation. Colonizers' tongue masking your own mother tongue. Force-fed you the English language until you mastered how to write, recite your master's tongue. Pack and unpack until you forget where you're from.
We've fallen into the rhythm of assimilation, a similar rhythm to conversations about multiculturalism and integration. But our black words were seen as too backwards, so we've lost our identity in translation. Thank you.
isla docda kale waxaan jeclahay hadda inaan soo dhaweeyo marwada la yihahdo Barbara Hall oo ahayd duqii hore magaalada Toronto si ay u soo dhaweyso labada wasiir ee ka kala tirsan dowladda federaalka ah waa wasiirka maaliyadda iyo sidoo kale wasiirka beecadda iyo environmentiga oo ka tirsan dowladda Ontario.
I guess once a politician, always a politician, although I said I was here as a citizen activist tonight. Pleased to be here with my husband Max to support the fight against the famine and to support the leadership and the work of many young Somali Canadians. How proud we all are of you and how you're using technology that we never knew existed to make this movement so effective. So I'm pleased to be here and also really pleased to get to introduce a man who I'm proud of in two ways. Is someone who cares about the community, who has had a career as a successful businessman and a community volunteer, but has got into politics or public service and is doing his work so effectively. He, for example, has hired people from our community to work in his office and to give us excellent service. He's our local guy, he's national guy. He's the Minister of Finance for Canada. Please join me in welcoming Bill Morneau.
Our government is trying to do things for Canadians that are going to make an enormous difference. We're working hard to make sure we raise Canadian children out of poverty. We're working hard to make sure that our economy helps all Canadians. But while we do that, we know that we need to think about our place in the world. And we know that we need to think about what's going out around in the broader world every single day. So I wanted to tell you a little story. A couple of weeks ago, I was at an event in Washington, D.C. And it was at a table with a number of people that are worried about things all around our planet. So among the people at the table were the new Secretary of the Treasury for the United States, one of Donald Trump's appointees. Another one of the people at the table was the Mexican Minister of Finance. Another one of the people at the table was a woman named Christine Lagarde, who's the Managing Director for the International Monetary Fund. And we went around the table and asked each other what most kept us up at night. And then after we talked about that, and everyone said what kept them up most at night, we asked each other, based on what everyone else said, was the thing that most of us should be worried about more than anything else on our planet. And I won't tell you what each individual person said, but I will tell you what we eventually voted on. And it was Christine Lagarde, who's the head of the International Monetary Fund. And she said what keeps her up most at night is the plight of 20 million people in the Horn of Africa and what's going to happen to those people if the world community doesn't come together and help. So I will tell you that all of us around the table, she was last. We all said what kept us up most at night. And I'll be honest, that was not what I said. I have 4 kids, so there's other things that are keeping me up at night. But the truth is, we all came around to understand that, in fact, that was the number one worry that we needed to think about in the global community at this particular moment in time. And I can tell you that as a government, we've thought about that. We made a $120 million contribution to aid in Somalia and Yemen in places where we know that people are struggling just to get by day by day by day. And I can tell you that efforts like what we're doing here tonight, what you're doing here tonight, and I know they're going on not just here, not in downtown Toronto, not just here, but around the world to help from the diaspora of people around the world who know that we need to contribute to make a difference. We, each and every one of us, need to make a difference. And I know that what you're trying to do tonight, what you're trying to say to each person who, whether they help 10 families with $600, whether they can do more than that, it will make an enormous difference for people who we need to step forward for right now to make a difference, because we know if we don't, people will die. So I want to tell you that myself and my wife personally, we're going to step forward, and I'm going to talk about how we can support. I know everybody needs to do the same, and I know that as our government, we need to keep thinking about how we can help. I want you to know that we're thinking about this in an emergency function, but we're also thinking long-term how we can do more in creative ways to help the economies, to help people get jobs in places like Ethiopia, like Somalia, like Yemen, where jobs are hard to come by, so that we can support people to make those economies do better. We know that there's long-term efforts that will make a difference, but short-term, what we're talking about here today is going to give us the bridge to that long-term. So I want to say it's really something that's a source of pride for me to see you taking this sort of initiative. I hope everyone will step forward, and I know we'll together be successful if we come together to make a difference. It's a real pleasure to be here, and I know this will be a successful effort with all of our help. Thank you.
Well, we're lucky in this part of town. We also have a provincial member who we are proud of. After being mayor, he worked on a number of other urban and environmental issues up until 2010, when he was elected as the member of provincial parliament in this part of Ontario. And since that time, He's had a number of leadership positions in that government. It's almost like a list of all the ministries. He represents all of us as the Minister of the Environment and Climate Change for the province of Ontario. Please join me in welcoming Glenn Murray.
And I have no trouble saying this, Barbara Hall was the best mayor ever to be ever had. So why is this happening in Somalia? Why is this happening across Africa and the Middle East? What is causing these droughts? This drought is a 1 in 60-year event. It is the second severe drought. It engulfs the lives of more people that live in Ontario. Over 13 million people are lacking sufficient food to keep them healthy, and a large percentage of those not enough to eat, and water scarcity in Nigeria and in Sudan and Somalia and Ethiopia are severe. This weather pattern is becoming more entrenched. Every day of my life I spend time with scientists, and I spent about half a day with Jeff Ozen, who's one of the leading scientists at U of T. Syria. Many of us have come together in this community to support our new brothers and sisters who have arrived here from Syria. That was a 1 in 900-year event. I'm going to say that again slowly. The Syrian drought from 2006 to 2011 that came back in 2011 was an unprecedented 1 in 900-year event. There is an extraordinarily high probability that Syria, Iraq, and Iran will over the next 5 years, 10 and 15 years, experience more severe droughts than that. So we will fight climate change by reducing emissions and changing the way we live, or we will fight climate change trying to save lives from severe droughts and starvation. And the irony of this is food is at the middle of this. The United Nations tells us that in the coming decade or two, we're going to lose about 1/3 of all of our food production capacity on this planet from drought and from shifting climates. And we're experiencing it here in Canada. In January, the Arctic spiked 30 degrees Celsius warmer than it ever had been on 3 different days. That blew the top off all of our climate models. That's 50 degrees Fahrenheit for any of my American friends. That was unexpected, it is inexplicable, and our jet stream has already slowed down by 20%. The Marindontal Current has slowed down by 30%. What that means to Indigenous people in the north is that gathering food is becoming increasingly difficult. We in this city throw out nearly half of the food that we produce. The food that's thrown out, mostly in the Western world, is so enormous now that if it was a country, it would be the 3rd largest emitter of greenhouse gases after China and the United States. Because we will not have enough money, resources, and food to deal with the regularity and severity of famines we're going to experience. Because the impact of climate change is exactly what you're seeing in Sudan and Somalia today. So we as Canadians have a responsibility to help. We also have a responsibility to live within the means of nature. So thank you very much. God bless and keep you all safe. Take care.
dad kaloo badan baa ka soo qayb qaatay barnaamijka oo ay kamid ahayd xildhibaan ka tirsan dowladda federaalka Soomaaliya Marwo Sacdiye Caris Ciise oo iyaduna ka timid magaalada Muqdisho ayaa iyaduna halka ka soo qayb qaadatay oo dadkii goobjoog ah kamid aha hadaba daawasho wacan.
Assalaamu calaykum waraxmatullaahi wabarakaatuh. Maxamed aad iyo aad baad u mahadsan tahay. Maanta waxaan fursad u yeeshay oo aan kala kulmay ardayda yaryarka ah oo dhalinyarada ah reer Toronto iskugu timid halkan maxay maskaxdoodii ay ku abaabuleen inay u aruuriyaan deeq dadkii dabararisnaa oo qaxootiga ku noqday ama abaaraha tirada badan ku dhacay.
Poet and storyteller who started writing at the age of 8 and performing at the age of 13. In 2016, she graduated from a 2-year residency at Wata Theatre, and she currently studies English and Women and Gender Studies at the University of Toronto. Above all, and this is the thing that maybe I love the most, she believes in the power of dreams. So if I can get Fadula here so that she can share with us.
How do we change the things that's happening back home? I mean, I've never been back home. Inshallah, many of our first generation Canadians Canadians will have the opportunity to go back home. But let's change the narrative, and today is a perfect example of how we change the narrative. This poem is dedicated to all of the mothers here with us today. Our mothers are our backbone of the community. With the violence that's happening not only back home but here in Toronto, who holds our community? It is our mothers. So it is our mothers who we must cherish, who we must hold, who we must embrace. And this is to our mothers. He quickly ignored the teachings of the prophet when he first caught glance of her. Lower your gaze, the prophet taught his men. Lower your gaze, but he couldn't. He wouldn't. He reassured himself that it's best that he shouldn't. Resist the urge to stare. Stare at her lashes. At the lips she often licked, her buck tooth she never hid. Stare at her cheeks, carved like the hills he grew up next to. His eyes soon fell upon her childbearing yet untouched hips. He was eager for her to turn around, fall in a daze with her arch at her back, and pledge allegiance that he never watched her back walk away. When she wasn't looking, he'd stare into her freckles, painted like dots of henna upon her golden brown skin, reminiscent of home. Suddenly he felt a stronger urge, the urge to investigate her skin and see what she felt, as much as she looked like home. But home was far from where they stood. Motionless beside a coffee shop somewhere in Italy, he could hear a breeze from Jigjiga as she spoke. Maga'a. What's your name? She asked. Mohammed, he said. She finally listened to the prophet as he did too. They both lowered their gaze, and to each other they said, what a beautiful name. It didn't take long for the two to get married. They shared an apartment with 3 other Somali natives before moving to Canada to have their first girl. A year later, a boy, and the couple were ecstatic to let their kids know that they'd be having twins. But 5 months into the pregnancy, one of the babies turned their back on life while the other slowly poisoned Rania's blood. When the universe is disrupted, an unborn baby attempts to kill its mother. Doctors told her to let go or be let go. So she left the hospital room, empty-handed. But the couple, they were madly in love, so they tried again. And this time she gave birth to a beautiful, healthy boy. But 2 weeks after coming home, drinking her favorite cup of tea, her hand, it begins to shake. And then her arm. And then she collapses into a seizure. Her husband comes home from work to find her stuck in sleep. She was stuck in a coma for 3 days, and when she awoke, she lost portions of her memory. She couldn't remember simple things like where she had last left her keys, or bigger things like the fact that she had just given birth. Laying in the hospital room in the dark, Rania was reminded of an ancient lesson that everything appears as anything in the dark. Following a few weeks of treatment, she was free to go home, pick up some baby wipes, some diapers, and read her memory along the way. The couple stopped trying. Their 3 children and 2 adults lived in a 1-bedroom apartment for 5 years. They lived next to a train station. and they all dreamt of trains, especially their youngest, to be strange in beautiful ways. Doctors diagnosed the boy with autism at the age of 5, and when that boy grew, the autism grew, and when the autism grew, the money cut short, and when the money cut short, the arguments grew long, and getting a 3-bedroom apartment didn't change the fact that their quarrels grew louder, their children cried softer. When Rania lost her job, Mohammed felt defeated. Mohammed scolded, "Yo, this money problem just can't be repeated." So he booked his flight to Edmonton and searched for gold. Instead, he found a wife. And the couple hasn't seen each other since the 5th year of the new millennium. And the stars, they constantly contemplate upon their fleeting reunion with one missing exception. When Mohammed stared at Rania the way he did, like they first met, would he stare at her cheeks, and the way they would often flinch when she tries to eat because her dentures don't fit, never enough food so it hurts to think to eat. Would he stare at her with pity for the number of nights she scavenged through her children's leftovers? Or would he stare at the hills, those hills where the freckles once stood, but the blotches of self-hate took over because she's tried just one too many times to bleach her golden brown skin to light? Would he still see her for the queen that she is and bow down in the reach of her atmosphere because she is a goddess who has for more than half a century meditated with dragons to angelically modify her demons to monks, jinns to sheikhs, make the shaitan think twice about his sin, and bend her knees before he dares to attempt to unbreak her heart. Carry her heart, carry her nafs, carry her heart, because she is clean, cooked, chauffeured, used to learn the back of her hand as a thermometer, learned to become a psychic for her mute son, all without child support payments where each child is worth $103.3333333 a month. So would our mothers stare at our fathers with pity for the number of nights they scavenged through our children's leftovers? Oh, Koya. You've gone down a path I could have never imagined going down upon, oh Koya. You trust me even when I lie to you, oh Koya. You hold me even when I tell you not to, oh Koya. I love you more than I tell you. I love you more than I tell you. I love you more than I tell you. I love you more than I tell you, oh Hoya. Why don't I tell you this enough, oh Hoya? I love you more than I tell you. Why don't I tell you this enough, oh Hoya? I love you more than I tell you. My mother's Sandy's footsteps cannot be told in one sitting. This is the story of a warrior born out of Kismayo, who I love more than I tell, who I love more than I tell. I love you more than I tell you. Thank you, everyone.
waata gabagabadiina waxaan leenahay barnaamijka isaga waa mid aad iyo aad u qiimo badan waxa loo baahan yahay in si weyn loo taageero dalkii hooyo isla markaasna lagu biiriyo waxyaabo badan oo dhinaca dhaqaalaha iyo ganacsiga iyo hadaatiin dhinaca ganacsatada iyo aqoonyahanka iyo sidoo kale dadweynaha Soomaalidu inay jeebka gacanta geliyaan oo taageero buuxina siiyaan dhalinyarada barnaamijka soo qabanqaabisayna waxaan leenahay hambaliyo hawsha meesha ka sii wada barnaamijyada iyo kuwa kale oo faraha badan oo had jeer bulshada Soomaalida u soo diyaarsan gaar ahaan daayirta ubadka hadii aan la dhinaca waxbarashada dhinacyada kale horey u socda ayaan idin leenahay aad baan ugu mahadsantihiin sida weyn ee qiimiga badan oo aad waalidiintiin u bedesheen iyo dadkii kale isla markaasna u soo bandhigteen barnaamijkan lagu taageerayo dalkeeni hooyo gaar ahaan abaaraha iyo masiibooyinka ku habsaday aad baad u mahadsantihiin gabagabadiina daawadayaal halkan waa muuqaalka Soomaalida waa aniga Maxamed Daahir Xasan waxaan kaga tageynaa si aad nooga barateen ubadkiina af Soomaali kula hadlo